time to team up with the Black Panther and fight Electro in 2 more issues of that retconned Spider-Man origin. Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I bring you trade paperbacks and single issues, and I break them down to the digestible bites to help you understand. And all alterations to the panel, text, and images are to prevent copyright problems, and all art is owned by its respective companies. So once again, we are giving you 2 issues of Spidey. This is the retconned childhood origins of Spider-Man. A few people have been asking what exactly that means, and what they're doing is they're retelling stories like how Spider-Man met with Iron Man, how he met with Black Panther, and they're changing those around in continuity and altering the timeline. Heck, they even made Gwen Stacy meet Peter Parker all the way back in high school. Most likely this is the lineup with the new Spider-Man Homecoming movie, but hey, we don't know. And for those of you wondering if it is officially retconned, yes, I did look it up and Marvel did state that this is the new official, quiet, all ages friendly Spider-Man story that retcons his origin. Peter Parker has been having a weird week, and it wasn't from the recent bad guys that he's been fighting. And even the normal part of his life of being picked on at school by Flash Thompson really wasn't weird. What was weird was the Friday that Peter and Gwen Stacy were studying, and she asked him a question. The question was to see if Peter would help tutor Flash Thompson. Now, the possible answers to that would be A, no thank you. B, are you trying to play Peacemaker or get me killed? And are you and Flash an actual thing? Or C, I'd rather chew my hand off. Or D, are you crazy? Peter responds with, can I think about it? Gwen tells him that he's the best tutor, and Peter thinks that he's actually the worst tutor. But later that night, Peter waits for a crime, and he thinks about how he can't really help Flash. Flash is one of his nemesis. Nemesi? Whatever. And to top it all off, Peter's getting a little bored because he can't seem to find someone to punch tonight until his spider sense seemingly goes off. And that's when he realizes maybe there's still hope to punch something. He swings on over to a warehouse where he finds it empty, and he begins to question, where did everyone go? Maybe down that awesome trapdoor? He climbs down the trapdoor that he found, and he sees a tunnel with men moving all kinds of something, and he figures that they won't punch themselves, but that's what he's told to stop by somebody behind him, and he begins to wonder why his Spidey sense didn't go off. Peter looks behind him and he sees the Black Panther, the king and protector of Wakanda, which explains why his Spidey sense didn't go off. Black Panther's really not a bad guy. Black Panther tells Peter that he should cease his actions. Those men down there, they will answer to me. They've stolen Wakanda's prize, but Peter cuts him off asking, is it vibranium? That rare Wakandan metal that has all kinds of crazy properties like absorbing sound? Black Panther tells him, your knowledge is impressive, but my spies have already been keeping track of these thieves, so you should go. But before he can finish stating that, Peter already jumped down to begin fighting. Americans, T'Challa says. Black Panther jumps down following Peter, and the 2 of them begin to knock out all of the thieves, and Peter begins to ask, how did Black Panther get his awesome abilities? Did he get bitten by a radioactive panther? Black Panther tells him that's absurd, and Peter agrees, getting powers from a radioactive animal bite? That's so absurd. So the 2 of them finish cleaning up the rest of the thieves, and Black Panther looks over at the supplies and he notices that most of it's there, but some of that metal is missing. And that's when Peter's Spidey sense goes off again. The 2 of them turn around to see the Claw. Black Panther tells him to stand down unless he's prepared to be beaten again, and the Claw tells him, I'm prepared. And he blasts Peter and Black Panther with a sound blast. Peter flies off into the crate of vibranium while Claw continues to attack the Black Panther, and that's when Peter gets an idea. Maybe he can use some of the vibranium. He jumps back in to fight with 2 pieces of vibranium webbed to his ears, and he knocks out Claw and he webs him to the ground. Peter begins to talk to Black Panther, and that's when Black Panther points at Peter's ears. Peter realizes, my bad, was I yelling? Black Panther tells him, no, you were screaming actually, and you shouldn't curse so much for being such a young man. Once they round up Claw and the rest of the thieves, Black Panther tells Peter the secret to his abilities is that he listens. When you listen, you open your mind to a world where the mundane becomes. And Peter begins to swing off telling him, listening, got it, see you at the next team up. Americans, T'Challa says again. But as the week begins, it goes back to being a weird week when Friday finally comes down and Flash is told that Peter will help him study. Gwen tells him it's a package deal. She'll help with history and he'll help with math, or they both won't help. Flash tells Peter he's not sure why Gwen is friends with him, and Peter tells him, I'm not sure either, but Peter thinks to himself that he's listening, and you know what he hears? The sound of someone not being beat up. So with that, it's time for them to study. And that is issue 7. Now let's move on to issue 8. Peter and Gwen decide to go out to the movies one night, and despite what people may think, it is not a date, or is it? As they sit in the theater to watch Raiders of the Lost Ark, Peter mentioned that this is his 7th time seeing it, and Gwen tells him, hers too, twice with Flash. So Peter asks, how are things with Flash? And she tells him that they're fine, they're just friends, which surprises Peter. That's when the lights go out. But not the kind of going out for the dark of the movie so it can start, but the blackout kind. and Peter's Spidey sense goes off. He runs outside and he changes into a suit and he looks over the city. And yeah, it's the total blackout kind of lights going out thing. Peter begins to swing past the buildings trying to see what's going on, and that's when he sees a light behind him and he hears a voice saying, "It's tough to find a spider." He looks back to see Electro, and with the blackout he thinks that he really should have been able to put that together. Peter shoots his webs and he asks if he really wants to tangle again. From their last battle, Peter had to make some changes because when he grabbed Electro last time, he shocked Peter through the web. But as Peter begins to swing Electro around, Electro tells him that he made some adjustments himself, and he electrocutes Peter, launching him into an AC unit. Electro begins firing off electrical blasts, and Peter manages to dodge them, but one of them hits a billboard behind Peter. Down on the streets below, Gwen looks for Peter, but notices the sign falling towards an older woman. She quickly runs over, pushing the woman out of the way, asking if she's okay, and the woman tells her that she was fine until she tackled her. Peter swings down, telling Gwen that it's nice to see her again, and that he appreciates the help. Keep in mind, he's Spider-Man right now, and she doesn't know that Peter is Spider-Man. And that's when Spider-Man tells her that there's a homicidal / electrical maniac on the loose, so... But Gwen tells him that she's looking for her friend Peter. He went missing in the blackout. Spider-Man points over to the police on scene, telling her not to worry. Her friend is over there helping the police. And then he swings off, stating that Peter guy's an awesome guy, firm handshake, great hair, anyway, bye! Peter swings back up to fight with Electro and he gets shot right back into the ground. He needs to get Electro away from these people, and then he looks over and he sees some people walking out of the subway, and that's when he has a plan. He runs down into the subway and he begins swinging through the tunnels, having Electro chase and shoot at him. Every so often, Peter stops to have a quick battle, but ultimately, he runs into a dead end. He then looks at Electro, telling him not to say it, but he says it anyway. "Dead end, Spider!" Dude! Electro then begins to close in on Peter, telling him that he's trapped, and Peter tells him, "You're right, but you're also trapped. You used up all of your electrical power chasing me through the subway, and there's no electricity down here, which means lights out." Once getting Electro to the police tell Peter that the Bugle is right, he is a menace. And so Peter changes back into civilian clothes to go back to his not date with Gwen Stacy. After he gets back down to the ground, he hears Gwen call out to him, telling him that she's been looking for him and stating that she got to meet Spider-Man. Peter tells her, "I did too, great guy, firm handshake." He then goes on to state that it seems like there won't be any electricity for a while, so maybe they should take a rain check on that movie. Gwen walks off telling him it's a date and heads home. Elsewhere though, the police car taking Electro suddenly feels a boom underneath it, and the car flips over into a street post. Electro starts to wiggle his way out of the wreck and he asks, "What is you? Why would you help me?" The voice tells him that he has plans to destroy Spider-Man, and to be frank, it's rather. The dust then begins to settle, and there stands Doc Ock finishing his sentence. Sinister. And we're getting closer to the Sinister Six. I'm still really liking these Spidey stories. I think it's really fun that they're retconning the origins to make it all line up with the all new, all different Marvel and the movies and all that stuff. But let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about it. I have seen some comments where you guys just don't want to accept this as a retcon, and that's perfectly fine. We all have our favorite versions of superheroes. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Comicstorian and Instagram at Comicstorian, and I'll see you guys next time right here.